Hello everyone, welcome to Live with Sirus Migration Education. My name is Isuru Yapa. I'm a registered migration agent and an education agent, and I've got Ashani right here. Sirus, she's also a registered migration and education agent. Today, you want to say hello?
Yeah, hi everyone. Happy Diwali and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween and Diwali to everyone too. As usual, today we're going to give an opportunity to discuss migration and education issues with you, or related inquiries with you live in one-on-one basis. If you have any Australian migration or education related questions, we invite you to type your question down below in the comment section, whether you're coming from YouTube or Facebook or any other platform. We'll be able to answer your question as much as we can within the time. Otherwise, we'll invite you to join us one-on-one in a one-on-one meeting in person. So we'll be talking about a few topics for the time being, but if you have any question, don't wait till the question and answer time. Type your question down below. And also,
if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. We try to get to the latest updates of Australian migration and education. So it's a very good way for you to be you to have the most up-to-date information about Australian migration. All you need to do is subscribe to our channel.
YouTube channel. Or if you're coming from Facebook, hit that follow button or like button, or I don't know which one it is. Yeah. So it's another interesting month in November. There are some significant changes and a lot of good news coming from employee-nominated section, especially. Back in the, it's going to look like back in the 457 days, where they from 23rd of November, it's going to come down to 1 year work experience. We are excited to hear about it.
We haven't had any further information about it, but we are hoping that these changes will come into effect on 23rd of November, and the whole new proposed skill in demand visa, we are expecting to hear any day now when this is coming into effect.
So this is one of the another reason why you have to, like, if you have interest about migration pathways and what to do next if you've already completed.
Yeah, let's look at the topics that we are going to cover today. We are going to talk about the latest migration news, which we have sort of already
jumped out already.
And we are going to talk about the global talent visa and the new proposed business visa as well, and then we will talk about the employer-sponsored visa, subclass 482s, 186, which is quite popular these days when people understand that there's not as much options for skilled migration. People started looking into different other sections and discovered this gold mine of employer-nominated visa. So we will talk about that little later, and then we'll also talk about the partner visas and parent visas that are
depending on the time available.
Exactly, Australian citizens.
Our target is more to, while we're talking about these topics, we want you to type your question and your concern down on the comment section, so we can be engaging with you live and give you some clarifications on doubts you may have in relation to any of the visas. On top of these topics, I would also like to talk about 405 and 410 visas, retiree investment visa, which has been a big topic. We've been getting many inquiries about this as they had a lot of information. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about all of this in coming topics. So let's talk about
the global talent.
Global talent. Yeah. One of the very interesting visas. It's still remain very strong. We are expecting major amalgamations or additions to this visa. This is only news at this stage. When we get the legislative confirmation about this news, we will be the first one to talk to you about it. So stay tuned, and be in touch. So the Global Talent Visa allows highly influenced, prominent people from these target sectors to come to Australia as a permanent resident straight away. This is an invitation-only visa, so you have to put an expression of his interest to Australian Australian Department of Home Affairs and get an invitation through the UI if you're highly talented. You can see the target sectors on the screen, so I'm not going to read them all out. But what are the key qualifying eligibilities, qualifying criteria are we going to be talking to you about? So this visa is for people who's got international exposure, international knowledge, experience, networking in any of these target sectors. The expectation is that you have a higher income than Australian high income threshold, which is 175,000 from 1st of July for the 2025 financial year. This get revised and changed every 30th of June every financial year. So for this year, it's 175,000 per annum. So if you're getting paid over that amount, or if you have prospects of getting this visa, getting this wages in Australia or higher, then this might be a good starting point. There is no required or minimum education requirement for this, but you need to show that you're the most prominent person in your opinion for this category. For an example, from Digitech, you might be a cloud engineer, you might be a fintech expert, so you might not have the most valid qualification or the highest education, but if you have done something significant, if you've been into conferences, giving lectures, if you've been in cryptocurrency changes or fintech apps, or if you energy sector, if you have developed major energy projects, or if you are a prominent person in developing a new technology in this, but you have got a recognition already. So this visa is this opportunity is for you. You need to have a nominator who's willing to sponsor you or nominate you. This nominator is not necessarily sponsoring you, but the nominated has to be either an Australian citizen or a permanent resident, or an entity, an Australian company or an organization who's expertised in your target sector as well. And then you need to show certain recommendations from highly influenced people to confirm that you are what you're saying you are, and then maybe we can come up with publications. So there are many ways to do it. We have many successful clients who has been from all around the world, and we can see that so far from their grant to settling in Australia with their whole family, we have seen many successful stories creating great economic impact to Australia and Australian citizens and Australian society by developing major applications, major projects that creates many job opportunities, overseas income streams to Australia. So if you think you can be an impactful person in Australia, developing Australian economy through any of these sectors, and if you're influential enough, you're not necessarily have to be an employee. You don't necessarily have to be a technical person. Like if you're in energy sector, you're not expected to be an electrician or an electrical engineer. You can be an influential project developer in this sector. I've also seen good grants for people who have been in industry businesses as well. If you're a business person who's got influential impact to that target sector, it can be your opportunity. So the scenario or the background or the pathway varies for different people in different ways. Your application for expression of interest could be different to everyone depending on your individual background, but the technical way of submitting the application is same for everyone. So if you think you're qualified and if you need some support or professional advice on how you can put this together, feel free to contact us. We're happy to offer free initial consultation for any GTI, Global Talent Independent applicant. So if you have any queries, please feel free to be in touch, set up an appointment with myself or Ashani or any senior migration agent or a lawyer, so they can support you putting your application together without any delays. Normally it can take up to 6 months to 12 months for an invitation these days, depending on your background. Having said that, we have had many successful stories where we have received the invitation within a matter of days or weeks, depending on your target sector, I guess, and how influential you are. And then the application process can take up to, the visa application process. Once you get the invitation, you can apply for your visa, and it can take up anywhere from 3 months to 1 year. It's a permanent visa. It depends on whether you have to go through your police checks or health checks, and most of the time it's more than the processing delays, it's the client's delay in submitting some of the documents. So it's a good visa category, and there's a lot of benefits for these highly influential people to come to Australia. If you're a genuine applicant and if you need support in this, we are always happy to help you. Bear in mind, there is no age limit or English requirement on this visa either. So Australia is looking for your brain. If you're a brainy person, smart, talented, skillful person, this visa is for those who are prominent in this sector. So I guess that's pretty much it about global talent visa, unless you want to add something.
No, I think it covers everything, but we are waiting to see the amalgamation between the global talent visa and the business talent visa, which is supposed to come by the end of this year, which is only about less than 2 months away. Once that comes out, it's going to be very interesting to see the eligibility requirements and everything to do with how they're going to look at the new categories of the visa. But as soon as we get to know it, you'll get to know it.
188 A, B, C, E, all these business and innovation visas been on hold for a few years now. It's almost been a 2 year. Having said that, 888 visas are being granted, been processing. There has been few changes after a long wait. Department of Home Affairs advised mid this year or earlier this financial year that they're going to stop processing new applications, but they will still be processing the existing applications. So if you're an 188A, B, or C or E applicant, if you already received an invitation and your visa has been lodged, thank you for being patient, and then we are expecting the application to be processed soon. But those people who are expecting to apply for the business visa soon or business innovation visa soon, we are expecting the new stream to be alive very soon. So we don't know the criteria yet, but will soon to be learned. Got a couple of questions. Let's address those now, and then we'll get back to the questions. Mr. Haak is saying industrial pharmacist with 80 points for 491 category. That means 65 for 189. Getting nomination call, not getting nomination call. EOI submitted in July 2023. 15 years experience in production, manufacturing of pharmaceutical industrial. Can I go for global talent option? Good question. Look, EOI results doesn't really matter for 491 for global talent visa. Just before I get to the global talent sector, if you apply for this EOI in 2023 July, there might be reasons, there might be requirement for you to reapply for EOIs in certain sectors, and there are certain changes since then. If you need any support, be in touch. We're happy to advise you on this. And on top of that, when you talk about global talent, the requirement for global talent is lot different. But a good thing is you're in pharmaceutical sector. That's a good eligibility. But there are a lot more to learn about you than this to give whether you can apply for the global talent or not. What I would suggest, Mr. Haak, is for you to set up an appointment through our contact details down below, and you can email it to us, call us, or WhatsApp us, and then we will have a one-on-one eligibility interview with you to understand your background and your family's background to see if you can fit into it. And bear in mind, happy to offer you a free one-on-one consultation about it, so you don't have to pay anything for this consultation either. Please write to us on admin@sirus.com.au. If you see any delays setting up the appointment, please WhatsApp to us. It'll be a straightforward answer. Mario's right behind it, so it won't be for another 10-15 minutes, but the other guys are behind us, so they can probably write too. 71 IELTS or PTE score is very good. You got 7 in each band. What matters is the lowest score as well, so overall is 71, good, but you need to have individual bands above the points as well to gain that 10 points for you. So hope to talk to you soon. We'll go to the next question, Mario. Sorry. You want to answer
Kamrul
this?
Hassan, 46-year-old, having 20 years experience as a school teacher under Edexcel syllabus, PT score 15 2010. That is definitely expired more than 10 years ago. Can one be eligible or not? It depends what visa. You being 46-year-old means you cannot do skilled migration. But that doesn't mean that maybe you can do an employee-nominated visa, a work visa or something. But for general skill migration, the age cutoff is unfortunately 45. But school teacher, it's a really good occupation.
The only other thing also you need to be in mind, if you're going as a teacher, for teacher registration, PT is not recognized. So you need to sit for a IELTS academic exam. And you're expected to have 8877, 88 for speaking and listening, and reading, writing at least 77.
Yeah. We've got Abu asking, from Bangladesh, 45 years old, doing job in IT and telecommunication sector for last 20 years. Can I get visa? Then again, skilled migration is a bit tough because you're already 45. But if you have an Australian employer, then a work visa could also be an option for you, because the next
depending
topic,
on your seniority,
exactly, we are going to talk about, doesn't have an age limit.
Correct.
So I've got Piyush asking, pharmacy technician, New South Wales, onshore, more than 8 years experience, 75 points for 491. What is the chance of invitation? 75 points for 491 means you have 60 points on your own. I think...
so you don't get the 189
right.
option. So 190 of 190 65 still. 190 or 491. See, this is because of the limited. New South Wales got quite a few places, so you might have an option, but we haven't seen many application invitations so far. there are really good opportunities coming from Western Australia as well. But also having said that, people are getting ready. If you're skillful, if you've been working in the nominated sector, they're looking at other visa options as well. If you like to learn more, be in touch, and we'd like to support you wherever possible.
Yeah. So that brings us to our next topic, which is the subclass 482 or the work visas. There's few subclasses for work visa. Mario has got a really informative slide prepared for it. Yes.
Might take a second too.
That's it. So that's the employer sponsorship or the employer nominated visas. For these visa subclasses, there's few that we mentioned: subclass 482, 494, 186, and the 191. For all these visa subclasses, the main criteria or the key criteria is that you need to have an Australian employer who's willing to offer you a job. And
bear in mind, you don't need to have any scores, so you don't have to go through a point test. But
yes,
as Ashani said, the main thing is you must have an employer who's willing to employ you, preferably not a relative or a related party.
And that employer, one of the key questions that I guess get asked all the time is that, does the employer have to be operating for 1 year? Does the employer need to be operating for 2 years? Does the company have to be in profit? I can give you an example that a recent grant actually today, and I had a grant yesterday as well. Both of those businesses.
Now she's showing off.
No, that's my job. If I don't have grants, what am I doing here? Both of those businesses, they started less than 6 months ago. They're not in profit. So even if the business is not in profit, even if it is a loss, and even if it is a brand new business, it is possible for you to employ overseas employees to cover the demand of your business.
It all depends on your business vision and the business plan and the management decisions. Yeah, so
with a good business plan, even if there is a loss, we have to explain it. It's not very simple when there is a loss.
I mean, if you simply been losing, and then you need to explain it. But then it depends on the management vision of the company. I mean, the accountants can be interpreting the financial reports in accrual basis. Some can be doing it in cash basis, and depending on the nature of the business, it can be explainable. And it could be they might be, the vision of the company could be in reinvesting into the company, so it comes a loss. So these things can be explainable depending on your criteria. So if you're looking to get support or be sponsoring someone, and you don't know, you have doubts how you can do it, don't get discouraged by these sort of factors. If you have a true demand that you're looking for someone, you're struggling to find someone, especially if you're we have many corporate clients, permanent clients from regional areas and out-of-bound areas where they're struggling to find the right employee, and now they have employees, but they have all these questions, how they can put this together, and what are the norms and what are the requirements. So it's a good point that Ashani brought up. Actually, a lot of people get discouraged by this sector, this area where they think this might not work. But give us a call again if you're an employer who's willing to look into sponsor an overseas employee, and if you're seeking whether the temporary basis, permanent basis, we can give you a free consultation on how to put it together and examine your eligibility criteria and what's the way forward for you.
Yeah. We've got a question from Chidi Bell. Could you please talk about the states that are currently open for nomination and advise which ones are best to lodge EOIs? I believe all the states are open right now. I have a feeling that you're offshore. That's why you're asking which state, because if you're onshore, you only have very limited states you can apply.
Should I give Ashani a challenge by saying, can you answer this question without mentioning Western Australia?
Yeah, so you can apply to the state that Isuru mentioned and also
it's
South
a
Australia.
Famous topic, because Why it's famous Western Australia is because of the job offer as well.
Yeah.
Most of the like 190, like I mean everyone
But I
knows.
think honestly, we can't give you an answer to this question without knowing what your occupation is.
Yeah.
Because I will suggest a state depending on your occupation and depending on what the states are preferring for that occupation. So I think we have to look, and especially that changes from time to time as well. So if you heard from someone that Western Australia is good or South Australia is good, but it could be changed this year. So it's best that you talk to a migration agent, someone actually who's specialized in skilled visas as well, who deals with this all the time and understand what is the best. So he's a diesel plant mechanic.
No, that's a different one.
No, that's a different one.
Mario's
Okay.
just going 100 miles.
Yeah. So depending on your state, it's we can suggest you what are the best states and what are the best subclasses as well, depending on your score. So get in touch with us. Happy to.
I'm not sure why
give you a
Ashani was looking
consultation.
at me when she said specialized person in general skill migration, but
Yes,
anyway.
Isuru has a lot of knowledge in general skill migration, and he is the guy to go to.
but
Washington.
I'm actually interested in Washington Chibaya's
Yeah.
question coming up next.
Washington.
From Zimbabwe, 39 years old, diesel plant mechanic with over 7 years. I actually interesting that you are asking this question. I had a motor mechanic, and we have some corporate clients, right? We sometimes put it out in our website as well. Guys, apply if you have qualification. We can introduce, and not for a charge. We don't charge for these sort of things. We'll be the corporate clients or corporate migration agents. So as a help, we put it out there for them. So one of our clients, I was just asking the relevant recruitment agent this morning, do you have any employers who's looking for a mechanical technician today? And she was going like, are there small engine mechanics or heavy vehicle? Because there's a massive demand for heavy vehicle at the moment. So if you're a diesel plant mechanic, I'm expecting you'll have. I'm not sure whether you have heavy mechanical automotive experience as well. There's a big demand, so I'm not sure if you have.
Yeah, maybe get in touch
CV.
with us, share your CV with us, and then we should be able to have a look and see if we can assist. With the visa, we can definitely assist if you have an employer. But if you have already got the English, and if you've got a skills assessment, you can apply for skill migration as well while waiting for an employer-nominated visa, because diesel plant mechanic, I think, would have a good demand. So we'll wait to hear from you.
Okay, let's quickly move back into. I want to quickly touch base on 405 before we jump into the other ones. I mean, you guys can get prepared for partner and parent visa questions. So 405, we've been getting many calls lately from fellow clients and prospective clients and my business visa clients as well. What's this visa all about? Can we apply for this? Look, Victorian government has put up this sector in their website, Victorian government. But if you look deep into 405 and 410, this visa is no longer again applicable for new applicants. So if you're in another 405 or 410 investor visa, you can look into it, but they're not expecting any new applications. So not sure why it's in the Victorian government.
Yeah, that is because
website.
if you're already holding the visa, you can apply. That's
So for
why.
people to reapply again, I mean,
Exactly.
this is
Yeah.
like for if you're in a 188A, 188B visa
Going
or
for your
188C visa,
888.
if you want to go for a 888 or if you want to go for another 188 extension, this might be an opportunity for you. It's similarly, if you're in one of those investor visas, then you can apply again, but if you're a brand new applicant,
as of now, we don't
as
know
of
what's
now,
going to happen.
it's
As
not.
of now, it is closed.
It's not there.
Yeah.
It's closed.
I've got the next question from Lahiru Silva. Could you please provide a brief explanation of the dependent visa for subclass 482 visa? Of course.
Okay.
So subclass 482, again, it's a temporary work visa that we talked about earlier. And if you're a family member of a subclass 482 main applicant, in this scenario, family members are your partner, so husband, wife, or a de facto partner, and your underage or your dependent children. They are eligible to apply for a dependent visa or a subsequent visa for 482. So they got the exact same they will get the exact same visa as the main applicant. The only requirement they have to meet is they have to prove that they're a family member of the main applicant. And also the employee sponsor, which is the business, has to agree to include them into the nomination. As long as that is done, there is no other requirement from the dependent family member. For example, they don't need to have any work experience, or they don't need to have any English. They just simply have to prove by a birth certificate or marriage certificate and some relationship evidence that they are a member of the family unit of the main applicant, and they will get the same visa, subclass 482, for the same duration as the main applicant, and they will also have full-time work rights.
There is no need. I mean, there is no further expenses for the employer for having dependence on this. The only difference is there is a extended visa application for the secondary applicants, and also Lahiru, if you have kids, they can get to. I mean, because you're a tax-paying Australian temporary resident, your kids can go to school or state school for free. I mean, it won't cost you any money to put them through the schooling system.
And the main applicant can be onshore, and the secondary applicant can be offshore, which is like in a different country, and they can still apply for the secondary visa.
And another good thing, I mean, Ashani said it as well. One major benefit is you can the secondary applicants can work full time or operate a business without a hassle as well, and they'll have the eligibility to apply for Australian tax file number, open up a business, open up a company, open up start another job. They can continue with what they're going to do as well, and they don't necessarily need to come to Australia together with the main applicant. They can come anytime they want. They can go anytime they wish to as well. And the only other thing you need to be mindful is they need to maintain the same insurance as the main applicant. So you need to extend your insurance policy covering the whole family.
Kamrul is asking, can teaching and school administration experience be treated positively for other suitable job options for a 4 to 6 year old person? So if you're talking about work visa, the work experience has to be closely related to the position that you're applying. As long as there is a different position that we can use the teaching and administration experience, and we can say that it is closely related, then you can go for that occupation. That's actually a really good question.
Yeah.
We also have, for example, sometimes mechanic. Isuru was talking about mechanics earlier. So the small engine mechanics and general motor mechanic and heavy vehicle motor mechanic are all closely related. So if you're a heavy vehicle motor mechanic, you can still apply as a small engine mechanic, and we can claim that experience showing that it is closely related.
Yeah. Technical side of it, but in reality you need to know and you need to have those experience working with the heavy diesel engines rather than small engines. So the other part also, sometimes like teaching, lecturing, and vocational training, tutoring can be similar but not exactly same as well.
That's right.
So you need to be mindful what's your real experience is, and then interpret your experience that way.
I think let's move on to the next one, partner visa. We'll probably just talk about partner visa today and answer other questions. So guys, if you have questions, please type them. This is your opportunity. All right, Australian partner visas. Sometimes again people get confused partner visas with dependent visas. Do want to talk about the dependent visa. Most of the dependent visas are for people who are holding temporary visas. So if you're a student, if you're a 482 visa holder, work visa holder, if you're a, what other visas, temporary visas we have? 407 holder, 408 holder, any of these temporary work visas, your dependents, your family members can apply for the same visa subclass as you. So that is not a partner visa, they don't get a permanent visa, they get the exact same visa as you. So it could be your husband, wife or your children. But partner visa, again, it's different. It is for Australian citizens, Australian permanent residents or eligible New Zealand citizens to bring their partners into Australia. That is the partner visa. There's two different types, the onshore partner visa and the offshore partner visa. Offshore partner visa is that main applicant, which is the non-Australian. If they're not in the country, then they have to lodge the offshore partner visa. Onshore partner visa if the partner is in Australia. Both visas take exactly the same amount of fees as well as the time to process. Onshore partner visa, offshore partner visa also has the exact same eligibility requirement. The eligibility requirements are you either have to be married or you have to be in a de facto relationship. If you're married, very simple, if you have a marriage certificate plus whole heap of other evidence as well.
If you're married, it's not very simple, I'll tell you right now.
You can be eligible for a partner visa. But if you're in a de facto relationship, that means you don't have to necessarily be married to each other, but you have to be in an exclusive relationship for at least 12 months or more. Then you can be eligible for a partner visa. I know there are many Australians, we handle many partner visas actually for Australian citizens and permanent residents as well as New Zealand citizens. So if you believe that you are eligible to either get a partner visa or sponsor someone for a partner visa, then again be in touch with the migration agent because it's a costly application. The application fee is $9,095 and it's a time consuming application. It takes about a year and a half for the process and it takes couple of weeks or a month to get everything together.
And there's many front-end eligibility requirement for this visa as well. So you want to make sure the application is what do you call them? Valid application.
You meet the validity criteria as well as the eligibility criteria. It can be a tricky visa, to be very honest.
And we normally make sure the applications are decision-ready applications, so there's no delays in between. When you apply and get the decision. And
also very important to keep communicating with the department with the relationship updates as well. That way, when the case officer opens the file, they have everything in front of them, hopefully, for them to make a decision in your favor.
It can be a simple application and it can also be a very complicated application due to the nature of the relationships. They're not depending on if they have had previous marriages, previous separations,
and previous sponsorships as well.
Previous sponsorship, and if we've met clients where they haven't received any divorce because the previous partner's been missing. The Philippine client.
So it can be quite tricky, and it is important to handle it right.
And then when we apply for this visa, we apply for two visas in one hit, temporary visa and also the permanent visa. And in between this time, once the initial visa is being granted, we've seen clients having domestic violence, relationship breakups. So there can be complications in between.
And criminal history.
So you don't want to get it complicated, but it's not as complicated, and you don't have to deal with all this by yourself. If you need simple discussions, happy to have a initial discussion. Happy to check a free consultation for the next couple of weeks, and then happy to have a chat and check your background and give you advice on how to move ahead. And with partner visas compared to what immigration application fees, comparatively our professional advisory fee is quite low.
You can look at the next question. I'll just check the answer to that.
HR advisory list,
I'm just gonna
Lena.
check that now.
Look, I've checked it
checked
not
it?
long ago. Very tricky one. I think one Orange, New South Wales or something. One or Townsville Dharma program they had it, but I can't remember on top of my head.
It's
But-
in Pilbara.
Pilbara, yeah.
Only.
Western Australia, right?
Yeah.
Western Australia, Pilbara, they had it, and very tricky one, but yes.
But it is in the ROL. So if your employee is in regional, you don't need this to be in a Dharma unless you're looking for special exemptions like age or something.
I'm not sure if I saw it from your same question, but it's not in there. Did I see 46 somewhere? Unless it's 46 somewhere.
Unless you're looking for age exemption or some exemption, this occupation is in the
Regional
ROL,
occupation list.
which means as long as the employer is in regional, you can still apply for this visa.
The only other thing also you have to be mindful, if you're in ROL, regional occupation list, then you need to have 3 years work experience and compete in English.
Yeah.
Okay, then Lena, you need to get.
You need age exemption.
You
then
need to be a Western
you
Australia
need to
friendly
move to Western
person.
Australia. Yeah. All right. Last question. Chidi is saying microbiology is the occupation. So he's the one looking for a best state to apply, and he is a microbiologist.
Yeah, look, please share if you want us to have a look through your background. Happy to have a discussion. Please share your CV with us, and then we'll have a further chat.
Yeah, and then
We've got not much time left, but we can't forget our parents. So let's have a quick chat about parents' visa. Having said that, it's Ashani's dad's birthday today, so happy birthday to
on Halloween.
Halloween man.
So parent visas are for Australian citizens. If you're in a temporary visa, the only way to bring your parents to Australia is by a visitor visa. But if you're an Australian permanent resident or citizen, that changes drastically, because then you may have an opportunity to get your parents here for a permanent
many different
visa.
ways.
Exactly.
Permanent visa is also an option.
And or the temporary visas, you have many options depending on how many members are in your family and how many children are living in Australia, what is your income. Based on that, there could be many options available for a parent. Again, I think what I can suggest you here is there are some really costly options as well as not so costly options.
Look, there are many ways, like depending on how you plan it. I mean, end of the day, when I talk to the parents' visa clients, you know, I start with asking, what do you want to do? You know, we all want to spend our parents' years with our parents without being so low.
I was thought you were going to say we all want to spend our parents' money.
That's what Ashani does. And some people have criteria or expectation that the young kids be left out with the parents, so they can be going around the world and running around spending the money.
Okay, let's stick to the point.
Now I've been taken away from the topic, but look, parents' visas can be adjusted. There are many parent visa options depending on how and what you want to do, because don't plan your parent visa options without talking to your parents as well. You might be spending a lot of money, and their expectation of the parents just simply want to be here with you for a couple of years, and they want to go back, spend some time with their usual residents as well.
Just a second. Lahiru, are you my client? Lahiru, can you please reply? Yeah, you can keep talking. I think he is my client.
So there's many temporary visa options for parents, or long-term visa options as well. It can be simply as 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, full time.
Am I seriously that bad that you have to get in touch with me through the live? I will contact you, Lahiru. But to answer your question, how to get permanent residency if you're holding a 482 is if you work in this 482 visa for 2 years for the same employer, after 2 years you're eligible to apply for permanent residency again through the same employer through subclass 186. But there are other options as well. There are
in
skilled
between
migration.
You can apply for 190,
yeah, that's
491.
Right. So there are many other options available, but worst case scenario, work for the employer for 2 years. After 2 years, you can definitely apply for permanent
And also,
residency.
if you already had 2 years of work experience, when you
3
apply for
years,
your
yeah.
482, you might be able to apply for 186 just after 1 year of holding 482 as well. Because 186 Lahiru has two streams, 186 direct entry or TRT. So direct entry requires you to have skills assessment and 3 years work experience. As long as you fulfill that, you don't have to wait till that 3 years, as long as your employer also is supporting you.
Yeah, and Lahiru, when you're in Brisbane, you're coming to Brisbane in about a month or so. When you're here, I will sit down and go through it all as well.
Alrighty, I think that concludes the day for us, and unless we have any other questions,
do you want to quickly, are we coming back in 2 weeks?
Yes.
Yeah, so in 2 weeks when we come back, I actually want to talk about protection visa.
Okay, 2 weeks I might not be coming, but Ashani will be doing this
Okay,
for
now.
you because I'll be in Sri Lanka. If you're coming from Sri Lanka, if you're coming from Colombo office, Colombo, anywhere in Sri Lanka, actually, not just Colombo. I'll be in Kandy as well on that weekend on Sunday, Kandy City Centre. If you have any question, don't just think twice. Just come and talk to us. No obligations, no payment to be made. We can just have a chat and then draw your pathway. And but if you're coming from anywhere else, you can talk to Ashani. And we are expecting to be in our Hanoi office in December. I can't remember the exact dates. We had a wonderful time in Korea, South Korean office. If you have any queries, if you're coming from South Korean side or Vietnam side, we are doing many different promotions and supporting your applications. So be in touch. We're happy to discuss further about your migration queries. So if you're coming,
and we will be talking about your migration queries to New Zealand from next year. So be ready for that.
If you have any questions about, or if you'd like any support, okay, I can't walk away from this. If you're planning to study in New Zealand or Australia, we can definitely help you through the enrollment process. But when we talk to many clients, what we're seeing is the education about for your kids to study in the schooling sector, the knowledge seems to be lacking. So if you're planning to teach your child, I mean, you might have a rich husband or rich wife, or busy husband or busy wife, and due to any circumstances, if you want to take your children and take them away to Australia or New Zealand to school them, ask us. The eligibility criteria is very different but very simple, and it can allow your child and yourself to be in Australia or New Zealand while they're studying. You can be here supporting them and guiding them. We have many students coming from Sri Lanka, PNG, South Korea, Vietnam, and there you go. That's from everywhere.
That's from what our education team has done this year. We've had a busy year and a very successful year with our education team as well as the migration team. So that's some of the highlights from the education side of it.
I didn't talk much about Latin America because Sarah's talking about Latin America all the way, and my Spanish is not fluent there at the moment. But Korean is konyan, so but Japanese definitely very good. So
all right, so see you everyone. Have a good week, good 2 weeks. Hopefully I'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Don't forget about getting to trick-or-treating. You can never regret that chocolate. So
and then happy Diwali. Mario, you can put that. Mario really wants to put this background.
This is Mario created by all by himself.
It's a beautiful artwork. Happy Diwali, happy Halloween, stay safe. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time, and
God bless you all.
bye bye.